This, what if you could deploy surveillance the way you throw sand? Tiny sensors everywhere, waking up only when something important happens. This idea has a real name: smart dust, millimeter scale. Motes that combine sensing plus communication in an incredibly tiny package. One early smart dust project goal was proving a complete sensor-de-com system could fit into a cubic millimeter, and it was funded with military-relevant demos in mind. But tiny sensors have a brutal problem: power. If they're always listening, they die fast. That's why DARPA backed work like N0, aiming for event-driven sensing, devices that sit nearly off, then wake up from an external trigger, like a specific sound or radio signature. DARPA's goal was extending unattended sensor lifetimes from weeks, months, to years. And here is the wild part: DARPA has also pushed micro-air vehicles, like the Nano Air Vehicle Hummingbird-style drone, showing how far miniaturized flight and indoor-outdoor recon can go. Put it together and you get the future play: tiny flyers plus tiny sensors plus near zero power. A network you can deploy fast that stays quiet until it matters. So when you hear DARPA, don't just think big weapons, think microscopic systems that can watch, listen, and report without anyone noticing.
Like and share.
What if you could...
Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash. Noble honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. It was in the gospel bride, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, wherever it may be. Salakia, this is a re-recording of the first part of the video going into the smart dust and the RFID chip. The camera had cut off, so essentially the video cut off midway and it didn't save the first part. So this is just a re-upload introduction in the video, so you brothers can kind of follow what's going on. So stay tuned for part 2. Shalom. Salakia. But anyway, so here it is. So I typed in smart dust. It says smart dust and the RFID chip are related in that they both involve tiny, often wireless devices, but they operate at very different levels of complexity and purpose. But I wouldn't say different purposes, because to be honest with you, looking at the video, they stated that mass surveillance. And with the RFID chip, there's going to be able to survey, and they're going to have all your information on these documents in this chip, to the point it is mass surveillance. So essentially, this could be part of it, especially with the AI systems and Palantir and all this other stuff. This is not a far-fetched thing for E, man. And it says RFID is already widely used. It involves small tags that store data and communicates with a reader using radio waves. It says you will see RFID in things like inventory tracking, contactless payment, and ID badges. Yeah. But the purpose is to put the technology in you. That's ultimate where it gets real. And they need to come up with the perfect crisis in order to pull this off, because the average person, it's not going to let you put a chip in them without adequate reasoning. That's a lot here, brother. Unless you're putting something in the fryer, air fryer. Jake finna eat some wings, man. But anyway, it's a basic RFID system, a tag attached to a smart object. A reader scans the tag. Tags can be passive, no battery, powered by the reader signal. And that chip allegedly is going to be powered by the heat of the body heat. That's why I believe, according to science, they mention that the right side of the body generates the most heat. So it makes sense, so to speak, that they want to put it in your right hand or in your forehead. But even then, if they put it in the left hand, they put it in the left butt cheek, the left part of the brain, it don't matter. It's still essentially the same thing. Okay? But it says tags can be passive, no battery, powered by reader signal, active battery power, longer range, which the battery is going to be the people. And all you people out there that shot that J, hey, good luck. And it reads, smart dust is more futuristic and it refers to tiny millimeter, even micrometer scale devices, often called motes that combine. But why not just combine the two? Okay, because essentially they could just complement one another, especially when they're getting ready to unlock this or unload this digital system on everybody, because this is going to catch everybody by swarm, because bank runs, famines, shortages. Trump is already talking about shutting down accounts of people that don't really comply with uploading biometric data. So that's already a step in a draconian way, so to speak. It says here, even micrometer scale devices, often called motes, that combine sensors, which is temperature, light, motion, chemicals, processing, tiny onboarding, computing, wireless communication, sometimes power sources like micro batteries or energy harvesting. It says these particles can form networks and collect and transmit environmental data autonomously. Okay, meaning that they can do it without you knowing. So literally, you could be in a heavy traffic or a heavy voltage area, and literally they can deploy that technology where they can roll it out first, like with 5G, they was rolling it out in certain increments. You could be in this whole setup and you don't even know nothing about it. You can go into like, let's just say if you go into like a Whole Foods store, and that technology can be used to operating the systems and all that other stuff. You could be getting it. You could be in there and they could be downloading you. You know, you could be getting a whole download on your data, where you've been, your contacts, what you texting, what your job is, what your credit score is, what your social credit score. These things are gonna. There's so many ways that Esau can extract data from people, man. But yet you got Israelites out there that basically call us conspiracy theorists. But this is a real thing, man. You know, like the Apostle Tahar always say, we sound like a broken record, but ultimately it is what it is, because we're set up as the men of the Lord. And the men of the Lord oftentimes prophesy the same thing. Where am I at? It says these particles can be formed networks and collect and transmit environmental data autonomously. It says smart dust is still largely experimental with research fields and like military surveillance. There you go. Chipping, concentration camps, certain neighborhoods or certain hoods under surveillance. All these things will be the factor. And it says environmental monitoring, healthcare inside the body. Oh, see? Inside the body. When you think of that, what are you thinking about? The chip. So I'm not saying smart dust is the RFID chip, but it's just another step as far as the technology is concerned that they can roll this thing out, that they can utilize. All right. And it reads, key differences. It says purpose, identification, and tracking, sensing and data collection. Why can't it all do it? Why can't they add it all together and it's just compute the information that it needs to compute? Complexity, power, often passive, usually needs power, communication, reader-based, network, autonomous, meaning you won't know. It says maturity, widely deployed, most experimental. It says, but the line blur a bit because advanced RFID tags can include sensors like temperature sensor tags and supply chains, which starts to resemble very simple smart dust. Okay, so how can smart dust in the RFID chip work together? See what it says. A lot of you Israelites, man, you getting ready to find out that we wasn't blowing smoke up you, man. We was just straight up telling you what it was. But a lot of you know. But a lot of you you're just too stubborn and you're too prideful to admit that the apostles had it right the whole time. And that's really what it is. Because they didn't come up with it. You know, and then a lot of you dudes, you just took the bag. So it says they can work together but not as equals, that the RFID chip usually is a gateway or interface, while smart dust does the sensing and local intelligence. It complements one another. RFID is a bridge for smart dust, as smart dust motes are tiny and often hard to communicate with directly over long distances, but the RFID solves that by acting as a middle layer. So it's like a middleman, so to speak. You know, it says here, smart dust collects data, temperature, motion, chemicals. It sends short-range signals to nearby devices. An RFID tag or reader picks up on stores that data And a larger system like a scanner or a phone reads the RFID, retrieves the information. So one of the biggest challenges for smart dust is power, where the RFID helps. Passive RFID tags don't need batteries. They harvest energy from the reader, and the reader is going to be the person, the host. Smart dust nodes can piggyback off that energy and synchronize with RFID reads. It says when RFID reader scans, it can briefly power nearby circuits, trigger smart dust to transmit stored data. All right. Sensor enhanced RFID overlap zone. This is where the two technologies actually start merging. It says some advanced RFID tags already including sensitive temperatures, humidity. Hey, the body generates the heat. All right. If you miniaturize and network those sensors further, you're basically approaching smart dust. But a larger deployment, thousands of smart dust particles collect data. They form a mesh network and pass data along, and an RFID reader places its key point collected aggregated data. Prime example, in a warehouse, smart dust monitors conditions inside packages and RFID checkpoints. It exits read summarized data. Supply chains, smart dust track conditions, temperature, RFID logs and reports data and checkpoints. Healthcare, smart dust inside the body monitors conditions, which it can go inside the body. You can inhale it, you can come into contact with it. Essentially, it can read you. It's crazy. External RFID like scanners retrieve the data and non-invasively. But agriculture, security and surveillance, smart dust sense movement or environmental changes while RFID collects signals without needing direct connections. Okay. What if they want to put the RFID chip inside of humans? Which they're going to try to grease it. They're going to try to throw a curveball and say, oh, that's not going to happen. But yeah, okay. It says an RFID chip is typically a tiny passive tag about the size of a grain of rice placed under the skin, usually the hand, similar to the chips used in pets. No batteries, no GPS, no continuous tracking, which that's a lie. Works only very close to the reader, a few centimeters, maybe a meter, depending on what you type. All right. It says what they can realistically do: unlocking doors of offices, logging into computers, making contactless payments, storing a small ID number or link to medical info. There you go. It says they cannot track a location in real time, which I doubt it, because these things, whatever they're creating, is more advanced than what they had. Where smart dust changes conversation. If you combine ideas of implants with smart dust, things get complex but also more speculative. But in theory, smart dust inside the body can sense biological data, temperature, chemicals. An implanted RFID-like device could act as a reader or relay point. External scanners can then pull that data out. It says that would turn an implant into more of a data hub, not just an ID tag. Real world concerns worth taking seriously. Even with today's simple implants are legitimate issues. Who controls the data linked to your chip? Of course. Could it be scanned without your consent? Of course. RFID tags can sometimes be cloned or spoofed, and weak encryption systems and some systems which can be hacked. Consent and ethics. Voluntary use is one thing, which we tell you that is going to be a conscious decision. Mandatory implementation by employees or governments raise serious ethical and legal concerns. But they don't give a fuck, you know. They're going to do what the hell they want to do, man, because that's how E gets down, bro. Okay? This is the book of Psalms 37. And I'm going to start at verses, where we at? Wicked devices. Psalms 37. I think it's 10. Damn, I just had it. Damn, Jake need to take a nap, man. Wicked devices. Psalms 37 and 7. I thought I read that. But anyway, it says, rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him, and fret not thyself because of him who prospered in his way, because of the men who bring wicked devices to pass. That's a wicked device. All right. That's simply what it is, especially if your plan is to coerce people to get this technology put inside them just so you can play the most high over people. That's wicked as all hell, man. And Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is not with it. All right. And those of you that the Lord is not dealing with, he's going to give you over to this spirit because, you know, the Lord is not dealing with you anyway. But overall, the Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is not with the tenets of the system, man. You know? Go here. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 43. And I'm going to start at verses 43 and 19. It says, behold, I will do a new thing. Now which shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? Yeah, and the new thing is going to be the chip. Now we qualify this, all right, because we understand that, you know, this chapter goes into historical events as well, but you qualify with prophecy as well, all right? Because it's not necessarily talking about the RFID chip in this verse, but you extrapolate through the spirit, man, because ultimately when the Heavenly Father reveals his things, he reveals it to the men of the Lord. Now it says here, behold, I will do a new thing, all right, because this is a new thing. They've been talking about it for centuries, but nonetheless, it was to play out in its time. It says, now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? It says, I will even make a way in the wilderness, in the rivers, in the desert. Okay. But the point was, the Lord said he's going to do a new thing. All right. We'll be here. Isaiah 42 and 9. It says, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare, and before they spring forth, I tell you of them. How? Through the men of the Lord. Amos 3 and 6. The Lord Yahweh will surely do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto the servants, the prophets. Okay. Revelation 13. And let's start at verses 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay. That's these miracles. Because when you go up to verses 14, and it says, and deceived them that dwelleth on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which have had the wound by the sword and did live, meaning this Roman Empire coming back into a life, so to speak. We're in the revival of the Roman Empire. We're in the fourth beast. Even Yahweh Shai came on the scene during the time of the fourth beast, which was the Roman Empire. But we're at the latter half of the fourth beast, because think of it as a two-part series, right? You know how like you got those TV shows, they may have 5 episodes and then they'll come back with another 5 after the break. So that break we had was when this man went down for the 1,000 years. And then the Renaissance is the second half of the season. You know what I'm saying? But it's all technically one season. Okay, the Roman Empire was expanded over 2,000 years if you count the time that Yahweh Shai came on the scene up until this current day. Because even when Esau went down, you had what they call the Holy Roman Empire, or the Byzantine Empire, which was essentially Jake's, ruling in that stead, man. And it says here, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So here we are, okay? But anyway, a quick lesson. All praises and glory and honor that is due to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you were edified. To the next lesson. Shalom.